Starting out solitary, it's week 254, and the topic is actually quite interesting. It is dealing with children who are not pagan, because there's going to be a time in your life where you're going to interact with children who are not of your faith or practice, and it may come up. And so, how do you deal with that? I'm a parent, and though I have not had to come up with this situation having to do with my children. I have had nieces uh, and also young children in my life, either from extended family or friends. So this is not something I haven't dealt with. Basically, oftentimes I think the biggest thing that comes up is if they see maybe my one of my witchy statues or my tapestry or I don't know, something clearly witchy that they shouldn't touch. um, and they ask, what is it? I just straight up tell them, I'm like, this is like an urn of Bast. And Bast is a goddess from Egyptian pantheon. And of course they're like, oh. And then use big words and they usually don't care to listen anymore because they're children. Do keep in mind, though, of the children who are of parents that may not want to have their children know or be taught about stuff like that. I have some family members who are very Christian and would not appreciate that. I would politely just tell the children, be like, why don't you ask your mom? Or if they're standing right there, be like, can I tell them what this is? Because when it comes down to it, they're not my kids, so I have to respect the parents or guardians' wishes when it comes to that. When it comes to my children, I don't give a shit if people talk to them about any religion, as long as they don't force it down their throats. So I don't think that'll be a problem coming from my family. And when I say children, I'm definitely thinking of under 13, where maybe they're not super internet savvy yet. Maybe, God knows nowadays, that's scary to think about. Where they can research in a way to find things out. But when it comes to my own children, or at least with Adrian, I introduced tarot to him when he was like 5 or 6. He would pick cards, and he'd always find them very fascinating to look at. And when Julian's a little older, when I don't feel like my cards are at risk for being bent or destroyed, I'll let him also take a look. I mean, there are some neutral things you can talk about, I think, such as crystals, because you can go into the whole geology of that, and that has nothing to do with witchiness, or it doesn't have to. Such as, you can find certain stones here. I keep looking over to the witchy stuff over to my right. That's why my eyes keep tracking over there. You can go out and look for these stones in certain areas where you live. You can find agates here in Washington. Sometimes geodes, depending on where you go. You know, it's probably easier to do an herb search here than crystals, but it's an option. But I'm not going to lie to children and be like, "Oh, this is something else." It's kind of like if a kid asks, like, mind you, I live in Washington. I have friends who have children, and though I do imbibe on occasion, I do not do it around my children. Kids may ask what, maybe a joint is, in a place where the parents smoke or whatever. Just tell them no, you can't touch it. Just you don't want them touching with precious glass. You don't want them to break it. Or even cigarettes, be like, these are unhealthy and are going to hurt you. I'm very much of a mind, be honest with kids, but respect what their guardians and whatnot wish them to know, or let them deal with telling them. So that is my thought, and I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.